The Indigenous Legal Needs Project is collecting information nationally on civil and family law needs of Indigenous communities. It is doing this with the help of Legal Aid and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander legal services. The project is being funded by the Australian Research Council. We are gathering information from 32 Indigenous communities across Victoria, the Northern Territory, Western Australia and Queensland. These range from very remote, smaller communities to major cities. At each community, we are sitting down with elders, young people, men and women, and with local services. Through talking with them, we are identifying which civil and family law issues Indigenous people need more help with and information about, and how communities can better access that help and information, especially from legal services. Civil and family law issues are different to criminal law issues. They include things like government taking kids away, being underpaid by Centrelink, getting ripped off at a car yard, being bullied at work because you are Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander, being evicted from your house. Problems like these can impact on many important parts of our lives, like our home, our families, our finances and our health. Our goal is to improve Indigenous people's quality of life in these and other areas and to help build stronger communities. Increasing people's awareness of their rights, as well as their access to legal assistance for civil and family law problems, will help to achieve this goal. This video talks about the 8 communities visited in the Northern Territory. Although these communities all had some different stories to tell, the 4 civil and family law problems they most commonly identified were housing, neighbours, discrimination and Centrelink. More people identified housing as a problem than any other legal issue. Just over 1 in 2 community members we spoke with said that they have had an issue with their tenancy.
Essentially everyone here is homeless, so everyone is in crisis, and it's getting worse all the time. They've all got debts for non-payment of rent or damage to their houses. It's a disaster. Like 15 people in every house, more even.
The main tenancy problems concern repairs and maintenance, paying rent, overcrowding and eviction.
The pipes are broken, the sewage is leaking out, the windows were broken when we first rented the house. We didn't know we needed to check all these things out before moving in.
Just over 1 in 4 people had a problem with neighbours, usually about noise, fences or boundaries, and animals.
Kids from another community come through and break things and make a lot of noise. Too many dog fights.
Nearly 1 in 4 people have been discriminated against because they are Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander, usually in jobs by services like healthcare services and police, and also in shops.
They rubbish me when I go working with them, and I stand up to them, but then they really put me down.
Almost 3/4 of people were receiving Centrelink benefits, and nearly 1 in 3 of them have had problems with Centrelink. Mostly these problems are about Basics card and also underpayments and overpayments.
You got to ring up and ask them to put money on the Basics card, and they ask you what you want to do with that money. It makes you feel small, you know.
Other priority areas where people may need more legal help include child protection, credit and debt, consumer problems and wills. Child protection is a priority because people think that too many kids are being removed, including as part of the Northern Territory intervention, and without parents getting enough legal help and advice when this happens.
It's like stolen generation again.
There are also issues with debt, mostly about repaying loans, but also about paying bills.
We had a client who spent most of his life in jail. He got out and thought, where do I get money for a car? He walked into a bank and they gave him a loan for about $25,000.
People also have problems as consumers with things like mobile phone contracts and purchase of and repairs to cars.
We had a guy who bought a car that was a write-off, but with just a new coat of paint, he had no idea.
Everyone's got problems with phone companies. It might be because they didn't realise it's going to cost them an arm and a leg to have their mobile phone in community. Or they might have a mobile phone they thought would work on community, but it doesn't.
Some people also have troubles after someone in family has passed away without a will. For example, with finding this person's superannuation, about their burial, or where their kids will live. Only 1 in 10 community members had completed a will, but nearly 2 in 3 people think that they would like help to draw up a will. In many cases, Aboriginal people had not received any help when they had had these problems. Only 1 out of 3 people had had any help with their housing problem. and only 1 in 10 with their Centrelink issue. People may not know their rights, they might not know that they can get help or where to go for it. They could also be worried about speaking up. Just as communities had different stories to tell, so too did some of the men and women we spoke to. Sometimes the type of problems men and women have and the amount of help they receive for these problems are not the same. Women are much more likely to have a problem with neighbours than men, but not as likely to ask for help. But men are much less likely than women to have sought compensation as a victim of crime. Suggestions for improving how people deal with these problems include more focus by lawyers on civil and family law issues, more community education about these problems and how to fix them, better communication between community members and legal services, including with interpreters, and stronger connections between legal services and between legal and other services working with Aboriginal communities. Thank you for watching our video on civil and family law issues in the Northern Territory. For more information on our project nationally, please visit us at www.jcu.edu.au/ILNP.